it. We'll switch to 6:15. Hopefully you guys will find me. I tried 3 different ways to get this set up. It seems like now it's working. I'm going to throw the other ones out. Videos. 6 days ago. Where the heck is it? No. No. Hey, Martino. Just a few minutes out of technical difficulty. Okay. It's coming. If you guys want to draw along, I put this image, you can just snag it off of Facebook, Instagram. I'm choosing pictures where you can't see anything, any genitalia. I'm going to photograph a female model soon, and we'll figure out how to get away with that. The drawing themselves is fine for the computer algorithm. It's the photos that are bordering out of art and into things that social media doesn't like. from. Maybe I'll make this close here. If you want to see a better view, I'm on YouTube with the camera above me. You Instagram guys, you can kind of see up on the screen. Once I start drawing, I'm pulling the board up onto my knees. So it's actually a pretty good angle, although it's horizontal rather than vertical. 2 minutes. And God only knows what I'll speak about today. It's really hard to think, to speak, and draw. They're two very different things. But I'll do my best to keep it entertaining. The timer is really what you're here for, hopefully. It will be beeping right by the microphone. So you can put on your own music. My voice won't be as loud, but you'll definitely still be able to hear the beeping as it goes. I've changed the timing from 20 minutes to 25. At the atelier, I was timing for 20 minutes all the time because the breaks went longer than 5 minutes often. Now I'll be doing 25 minutes of drawing time and a very strict 5-minute break, which is called Pontomoro timing. Pontomoro timing, I learned in one of those get-rich-quick, improve-yourself, Tony Robbins type seminars about how much focus the mind can have, how it peaks and then drops off about every 25 minutes. So for us drawing, we might as well use the potential of what science is giving us and the knowledge of how the brain works to our advantage and actually time ourselves and learn this timing and take breaks. And what's really nice about the 25-minute timing is we're going on every half an hour. So normally, if I wasn't running late because I had all these technical issues with the computer, it'd be 6:30, draw again, 7, draw again, 7:30, draw, and keeping a nice even time so that if you don't have the timer but you have a watch, you can get a feel if you're kind of blind on the time for where we are. Now, let me check in on my YouTubers. They're starting to pile up now. Okay, so let's get the show on the road. As I said, Pontomoro timing. So if you've got your own timer, you can set it to 25 minutes. Tonight, I'm going to be drawing another Ryan picture. I have it up on the screen, but I also have it on a card beside me for photo reference for you guys on YouTube. But what I've done helps kind of teach a concept. I've folded my paper so in quarters. So I've created a crosshair. I know one of the students, Dave out there, he's following along with the drawing, and he's actually just following my steps and the video without the reference. If you don't have the reference, you can go on and snag it and print it out on your home printer. It'll be black and white, which is great because we're drawing in black and white. I'll be drawing today on toned paper. Again, we started that a couple weeks ago for fun. And last week, my good friend Keith Springall challenged me to do as he does, which is pan pastel. So I have some pastels and charcoal. I'm be starting out with nitrum charcoal, which is nitrum or marten backwards, and I've sanded it and sharpened it. But I'm not going to actually draw as much anatomy. I'm going to use a lot of just blocking in shapes today. But I will draw, and hopefully you can see, I'll try to make it dark enough for the video, this crosshair. You'll notice that this arm to the right of the line has a very nice plum. So I'm actually just going to travel my plum over now, and that's where I'm going to use the structure of his arm. So this is a nice hard charcoal. It's not leaving a lot of mark. You can also use a very soft vine charcoal too, which is quite erasable. So I'm going to just block in now. I'm actually just going to block in shadow shapes with either charcoal rather than drawing things that I know, legs and whatnot. I'm just going to block it in. I'm going to draw them quite a bit bigger too than my reference. So I might have to adjust my chair here as I go. And hopefully, because I don't have my phone on me, so Leah, you can't actually call me and tell me what I'm doing wrong until the break. I will just have to look up at the screen now again. It's a learning experience. Here I'll show the arm a little bit. But all inside, just dark blocks. I've been having a lot of problems with the Wi-Fi here, but I think they're fixed now, so hopefully I'll be able to go back online with the Friday classes. I might have to play a little review and catch up. C-Space has been very nice that even though we're closed, they went out of their way to get the Wi-Fi fixed for me so I can keep casting these things for you guys. So that's been super cool. All right, looks like abstract art right now. I just want to check your YouTube, guys, what you're seeing. Oh, good enough. The vine charcoal is really nice in how fast it goes down. The other thing why I picked this image, other than not showing genitalia and what have you, this area back here, this dark area, and the darker arm behind is something that I want to play with how much material I put on here and how dark I make it. You know, presumably the lightest part of the lights here will still be darker than what I have down now. And that should help play a little bit with what I can set back in my image. Let's get his head in now. So I haven't checked any measurements here. It's like 5 heads. So I'm a little long. Long, but that's okay. All dark around him. So you're going to have like a, I don't know, it's going to look like a Lego man, maybe. Really blocky. I'm going to elongate his neck because I really like how that's looking. His chin is further out than his shoulder. We'll do a critique at the end as well, like we do every week, where I enlarge upon the screen and put my drawing beside so we can analyze it in all the brutality that is. Okay. So squint your eyes if you need to. See what is light, what is dark. It's very hard for me to draw at this angle. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to fix a lot of distortions as I go. But this drawing style that we'll be employing today is more similar to painting than draftsmanship. Moving masses of light and dark around with your hands, getting dirty. That makes it fun. And then rubbing stuff out at the break. So we'll push and pull. This thing's going to disappear a lot and come back. Hopefully come back. So it might look like I'm doing lines. I'm not drawing with the tip. I'm just using this to make these boxy shapes of light and dark. Light and dark. Outside is dark. The next time I photograph models, I'm going to try to photograph them on neutral gray or white so that, that's where the neck is, we don't have to color in as much as our paper in these demonstrations, just to save ourselves time in this long pose. So as we go forward, we'll be able to spend more time working out our knowledge of anatomy. Rather than shading the background all the time. In this case, it's okay to shade the background because the background, I want to work on the lost edges between what's light and what's dark on the background. So what happened here was I put the shoulder too high up. I'm just going to move this down. Hopefully you're out there, Keith, watching me struggle. With this technique, but this paper is pretty nice. If you're looking to get some and don't have some, I have it at the studio and we can arrange curbside, pick up, drop off, whatever. I already had one student come in and get it, so I bought about 40 pads of it with the intention of using it all summer in classes and whatnot. So it is here. You don't have to go to the art store if you don't want to. But I'm not going to deliver. So I'm just refining this dark shape a little bit more now. This nice hard Nitram charcoal I'm using to push the charcoal I put down in. And I'll build it up with compressed charcoal later. Believe it or not, I'm making this up as I go. We'll see what this new timing feels like too. Maybe it will feel too long and we'll go back to the 20 minutes. So just following the core shadow down. So this is quite a different way of working than what we do when we are drawing Riley method kind of ways. Use your eraser as a drawing tool as well. Don't be afraid of it. This paper can handle it. If your paper can't handle it, maybe change techniques. Erase up the head there. So the goal is going to be to get to a place where we can add white charcoal or chalk to the highlight areas, and I'm going to use for the first time ever these pan pastels with these stupid little things. And I don't know, these little tools look like makeup applicators. So If you don't have these, that's fine. You can use Q-tips and stuff like that. I use these makeup sponges all the time and cheap brushes. We're just gonna enjoy the process today. You can see I'm really taking my time. I got nowhere to be. It's Wednesday night. This is what I do. These hard edges later, I'll probably go in with General's charcoal, sharpened pencil, if I can find them. Use vine charcoal, something nice and hard like this for your halftones, just as you're starting to go into your shadow. The paper's already toned, so we have some of the darker parts just on the other side of the highlights. I'm also using quite straight lines as much as possible in the beginning. Humans are very good at drawing things more architecturally. We misguess curves, make them too fat in the belly or what have you. So my finger right now is removing. I'm going to have to get something a little bit darker. Tricep. Nice sharp line, hard edge at the electronon. I'm pulling up the cross contour, this halftone from my dark, the direction of the pull, not this way, cross contour, I guess, and then put my dark in again. The core shadow appears darker as the, lights are going down here, as the reflected light comes in. So this part will be darkened again by a much firmer and darker charcoal. So I'll just use this to turn the form. So I go along with the angle of the ribs around the body. That gives the appearance of it having some form. And it's okay if you have little lines like that, because they direct the eye around. So from the dark into the light, just dragging the material. This back line is in the way wrong place. This, where I already have it, is much closer. I might put a new line next to there. Oops. It's kind of ducked down while I draw. It's brutal. What I like about the Nitrum charcoal is it's really warm, and I've found that it's a consistent color. Sometimes when I buy the other charcoals, they are bluer or grayer. They aren't as consistent. But for warm paper like this, it works really nice. It's a warm burnt color. It's more sepia than blue. When I bring out the other charcoal later, maybe I'll just even show you. I've got a whole bunch of stuff, all different brands. These are all my vine charcoals, the loose ones. I have another softer Nitrum charcoal here. It's much darker, but it's also much harder, so it scrapes away some of what was there on this paper. But let's just look here. Let's put it in the dark. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but this black looks bluish, and this Nitrum charcoal looks browner, warmer. And so I'm going to use a cooler one for the background. The background in this case is actually navy blue, so that I have a little bit of color in this piece. So on the body, I'm using warm. In the background, I'm using cool. Warm colors advance, cool colors exceed. That's going to help me create a little bit more distance here. Okay. So I think my whole drawing is much longer because I'm tilted. For the camera, I'm not used to doing it this way, but I think it's looking all right so far. And with 5 minutes left, that's not a bad place to be. I don't hate it yet. Raise this heel up a little bit higher. It's got, I made the butt so round looking, looks almost like a lady's bum. Men are a lot boxier, lean ones like this guy. So going more straight at before the turn. And if you're a girl, especially a white girl with a boxy bum, sorry. Tough times with this Kardashian stuff. I follow this Instagram called Influencers of the World, and it's so funny because it's people who film influencers when they don't know you're watching, and how ridiculous they look trying to set up that they're all cool, and then as soon as the post goes off, they go back to being like a normal human being. You know, the tranny and the huge shoes is just giving sass walking down the street while the camera's on. As soon as the camera stops, the whole facade just crumbles. Very entertaining. If you care to waste more time in your life, Instagrammers of the world. And oh man, I'm just thinking of some of them right now. Just so funny. They don't want you to see that view. And right now during the lockdowns, it's even funnier because there's nobody out. So people will be filming from their balcony, seeing these people in the middle of the street doing these, you know, ridiculous things for social media. you know, just trying to look so cool. So I'm showing a little bit of depth in this dark right now. I may end up making this back leg and arm cool so they kind of melt in to the background as well. Set them further back, I'm not sure yet. I'm using a horizontal line in my mind, not where I folded the paper, but from the ACES, from my landmark here, across to my elbow, my olecranon, and where this light is, all the way over to my hand. So I'm kind of like a printer. I'm just thinking what goes across, what is an alignment here, if anything, like scanning down. It helps me put the pieces together. I'm at a very awkward angle. Normally, I would be drawing like this. But as you guys know on YouTube, all you can see is hair if I do that. So who knows, this might be a very long looking drawing at the end. Like a Botticelli or something. Maybe that's what's up with Botticelli. So with the hand, I'm drawing an overall architectural shape. Don't draw all the fingers. Don't draw what you know to be there. Just draw the shapes that you see. And the other thing is, don't put a lot of attention on the hands. Unless they're the focal point of the piece, which I had a drawing of Ryan, the second one of this series of 7, 5 weeks ago, where the hand was illuminated. And so there is a lot of detail on the hand that's in the foreground. The piece warranted it. But if you put too much detail on the hand, the eye won't go, say, to the face or where you want it to look. So you got to draw how you see, not everything you see. The brain needs to fill in some stuff. That's the fun game for it. Okay, so we're about to beep here. I've got quite a bit of him blocked in. I got to work down in the dirty area here in the next break. Well, I still got 20 seconds, so maybe I'll do some. When I step back, I can't actually step back and look at my work, so I have to move it off the bench here because right behind me is the camera set up. It's literally, I could lean back on it right now. So I don't have a chance to like step back and really look at the work like I normally do. So we're going to take only 5. Get yourself a pee. Dave, I know you're out there and your wife's feeding you dinner. Eat something. Wash your hands if you need to. 5 minutes, I'll allow that to sit in the picture. And I'm going to check in case my lady messaged me about the video looking bad and all that stuff. I'll wave at you guys, and then I got to check the messages, so I'll be back. Let's see. What the frick? All right. Let's figure out what's going on here. It's on YouTube. If I move this over. No? How about that? Is that fixed? It's quite a delay with this video. YouTubers, I'm trying to get rid of that gray stripe on the right. I'm sorry, that's very annoying. Hi, Robin. "18 seconds. Why isn't it working? It says it's fine on this. Aha! Did that work? Yes! Hey, learning something new every day. I will say that every time I frickin' do a live stream, this is my 7th one of these, and then all those Friday ones, and I've tried Zoom and all this stuff too. It's never smooth sailing. Every time there's some other new technical problem that wasn't there before. I do it the same every week. This week, Windows, it won't upload. It was saying it was private. Very annoying. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I like this drawing how it is, so I'm just going to keep going forward. It's abstract. This right now is my focal area. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I just love the striations and being able to follow the muscles and some of the complicated parts of the forearm with some halftones. So I'm going to continue building this bad boy. And then I will, so still with core shadows and whatnot, then I'll switch gears, I think. I'm not so concerned because I'm doing new technique, new materials. I've never used pan pastel. I bought them so long ago. My lady is a pastel artist, so I gave her almost all my pastels. How much of a pastel artist is she? I gave her thousands of dollars of pastels, and she's long ago used them all. She is working on a very exciting new series. I can't wait till she has a way to share it all with you guys, because it's going to be cool, and it kind of relates to what we're going through now, but also what's in her yard in spring. It's going to be pretty neat when all is said and done. I hope you guys know your way around art and what you want to do. I've got to be honest, I've had this idea to make a body of work for years, and I still haven't begun. Mostly, right now, I feel so good because I've got most of the taxes for the atelier done. Still a few months more to go. It's more complicated than one guy should have to deal with. I really need a bookkeeper. Any one of you out there who's a bookkeeper? Last year, one of my students, Jen, helped me. And there are things, an accountant, there are things that I didn't know, and saved me a lot of money, I'm sure. We'll find out. I don't know if you guys can hear this lovely sound of charcoal. Some students in here, Susan, whose last name will remain unnamed, hates the sound and feeling of charcoal. I love it. Kind of like when Jeff Cletus is in here. My God, it's just so relaxing. And you can tell when you look at his work. Definitely check it out if you haven't. He does this beautiful like crosshatch, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. He was also going to teach a class here before we were forced to shut down. So my hope is you check out his work, and in the months to come, you follow him. And when things come back online, we all get to take a course with him. He studies in Paris and was supposed to go. He just had his 39th birthday as well. Or is he 38? Anyways, he's an old, old man. Maybe he's following along and I'll pay for what I said. This is the thing about me talking. I have to talk when I'm drawing, but it's a different part of my mind. It's not the part that's doing the drawing. And I'm very afraid of what I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you if the earth is flat, but I do watch a lot of that crap. I find it very entertaining. I've been on a kick right before bed of watching these meme TikTok people. This tells you how old I am because I don't know what the hell to even call them. And it's fucking ridiculous. Seriously. But you know, they're different than YouTubers. And I guess just like this screen, you know, they're screens facing them, and they're playing video games essentially. Maybe that's why I don't get it. I don't play video games. This is what I do instead. I was never good at video games. And for a very few people, cast shadow, hard edge. Sorry. So sometimes I talk about what I'm doing. They've got their own subculture and language, just like we do in the arts. They make references to games, Banjo-Kazooie, and they laugh. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what they're talking about. But they're a bunch of famous people now because of this. TikTok. If any of you have a TikTok channel, share it with me. I'll check it out. There's this guy from Calgary called Pig. He's like 77-year-old, and he's in the BSDM community. And I saw him on another comedian podcast that I watched, Your Mama's House. And I was just like, whoa, Calgary represent, you know? And this guy's got a pig tattooed on, a snout tattooed on the top of his head. And he's in the BSDM community here in town. He was like a mortgage broker. You'd never know he was into this wild stuff looking at him. He just looks like a regular old dude. More angle here. More angle. Dave, if you're following along, sorry. More angle on this back leg. You guys can't you can see this now. Sorry. It's tough. I need more angle on the leg. More diagonal. Not quite as high as up here. Good enough. Good enough. That's the nice thing about art. Good enough. No one's dying. Not a doctor. I don't have to worry about that kind of liability. The only liability I'm worried about right now, paying my rent here. I'm able to cast out to you guys, but more so, got a lot of lovely students I don't want to get sick. I don't want anyone to get sick, really. Not even my enemies. There's not enough time in life to worry about that stuff. Oh, I hope you guys can hear this. So the erector spinae is stretched. That's that muscle that is at the back of your sacrum. We can kind of see the sacrum here, the tailbone. They're stretched out and flattening out. And then there's a little bulge coming up at the separation. Now this here is not a shadow. What it is us seeing the turning of the form. The skin turning, so it's almost like you're seeing more of the sides, so you're seeing more value, more darkness, more color. So it kind of appears as a line, but it should be soft and fading. And this bulge here extends up. This is the rounding out of the lat, turning around the body. And then at the top here, which obviously goes straight across up here, you can see the scapula poking out because his arm is raised up on this leg. So this line connects across to this line. See? So you look for connection points. Knowing that the body is fully round, how can you bring this beautiful sculpture together? Might be a little too big. We'll shrink it. Shrink it to fit. My friend, Amy Golan, turned me on to charcoal. That's really, really, really dark. Oh, I don't have it here. I'll get it at the break. The Jack Richardson charcoal that comes in that little wooden box, it's so rich. It's the darkest dark. It's kind of cool, and it's almost got like little mica flakes in it or something. So that's what I'm going to want to use to help this pop out, I think, a little bit more. Straight across from the achromium process, which is about here, is where this scapula is starting. So that helped me make it a little bit longer. Moving it to the right place. Sorry if my head's in the shot. Structure for these fingers. They're in definite shadow. Definite shadow. From the process right here, you can see there's a little divot. All dark. It's in like 3 stripes. Dark, medium. So medium would be like your half tone. And then slightly lighter. I'm just going to rub my finger. Add more material here. We'll see what these tools do later. Oh, look at that. It pulls off material. Okay. The hard edge. Alright. I'm just going to soften that up. I don't want this to be too ethereal. I do want it to exist and to be there. So I'm going to have to press harder and probably spray the heck out of this thing. We'll see. All the other drawings as I close the book are making 2 drawings, one in reverse on the back side. Hopefully you guys are keeping up with me. I'm going really slow for my speed that I like to work at. It's kind of like reading a book. I mean, yeah, we're here to get better, but we're not in a race. Some people are, maybe. Keith, you're probably going so fast. I think I can draw fast. Luke can draw really fast, too. But kind of like when you read a book and you sound out the letters in your head, that's what I call reading for enjoyment. Hi, Robin, again. Or is that hi to earlier? Anyways. So, same as this drawing, being methodical. So I left all this bottom stuff, so I figure I better get to it here. Nice cast shadow in between the fingers. Find when I draw men, it's okay to make the hands a little bit bigger. Michelangelo did it with David as well. This one's also much closer to me, so it's okay if it gets a little out of whack. This hand's a little bit big, and I'm determining that because there's this angle that goes up between the two hands. I could make this one longer, but even this hand looks big to me. So we'll just fake it. I don't think Bob Ross ever said fake it till you make it, but I'll claim that one for myself for now. Fake this happy little tree. Knuckle. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Way too long. All dark here. I'm using compressed charcoal now. I'm going to put in some cast shadows, some darkest darks, essentially the black of the background. So I can judge my shapes and values a little bit better. Here I'll make a lost edge. I'll just scrub between the two. Even though one's warm and one's cool, they're going to get smudged. They're the same value. They might not be the same color. Same as this up there. All right. Dancing around a little bit here. My pants are getting so black because of all the charcoal falling down. So the foot is kind of in alignment with the palm. I'm still squinting my eyes and not drawing the foot, drawing the shapes, just the shadow shapes. And by virtue of just doing that, abstracting it a little bit, I get a much better start than trying to draw what I think I know. At this time of year is when I normally would teach my class on the anatomy of the hands and feet. Not this year. So, as a student Carla Clausen's probably drawing with us right now. She's really good at it now. So you could go on her Instagram, check out her drawings that she's doing every week. Also her design work. It's a shout out kind of day, I think. Look at the foot. Ah, that foot looks small. It's gonna have to be for now. Sorry guys, I thought I was on the screen there. Looks small, doesn't it? Here. Making it bigger. There we go. Little tiny area by the hand and the fold of the leg, which is catching the tiniest bit of light. So, using the new tool, I just rub some out. Like a 14-year-old boy, just rub it out. There we go. Oh! I'm worried this thing is not going to survive. So that's going to be my head shape. The chin sitting out, place. The neck beds down, which means that trap, the acromion process is up here. We're lucky because this pose today, you don't have to draw a face. Does make things a little easier when working with rather blunt instruments. And I don't need my humor. Big blocky squares, these tools. Just had a little collar. It's getting awfully close to the perforation of this paper though. Ah, I got nowhere else to go here. Broke my charcoal. nose. Lip. The hair across the neck. Below the nose is horizontally is the ear. I'm just carving out that ear shape because it's so much darker. We'll worry about the details later when I got the harder, blacker charcoal. Just another minute left. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm just going to step back and have a look. Put this tea back up as well. So we'll take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break. And we'll be back on the Instagram too. Thank you. 5 minutes, guys and girls. Wash my hands. Wash my hands. Soapy soap. Nice and clean. Nice clean hands. Might be trying to put the hand back up. That foot is small. Man, that foot and head looks small. Leg looks big. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Seven seconds. Okay. All right. I consulted the Oracle during the break and stepped back and looked through the setup, and I determined that the chin, so the head should be the same size as the width and the height, and the chin is not low enough. It should be in alignment about with the scapula. So I'm going to drop the chin down. I'm not committed on this face yet anyhow. I didn't like how it looked from far away. It's definitely a different angle on the screen as well. So we'll see at the end what it looks like. So I'm going to drop the chin down and make the head a little bit more major. Stepping back, this leg is so big and prominent. And I think that it's this leg being so big, being that it's like really the closest thing to me because I'm tilting my paper so much, that if I just erase and shrink it a little bit, that means I won't have to move a bunch more stuff down. So I'm just going to thin the leg a little and elongate the head a little, and hopefully I can go forward from here because of this change. That will help me get a bigger foot and a smaller butt. So observe your drawing. See what, you know what, follow your feeling. A lot of art, I mean, I'm talking out loud. I mean, people pay me to teach them, but maybe a lot of the time I don't know what I'm doing. Being an artist, creative solutions, you gotta leap sometimes and that net will appear. You gotta trust in the process of art. You might not know exactly, I mean, you might know what you're trying to do, but how do you get there? That's the exciting part. It's like we're always learning. We're learning from every mark. We're keeping our neural plasticity going. maybe I'm giving art more credit, but not enough people give it enough credit. So I shrunk the butt down, thus shrinking the leg a little bit. So there's a cast shadow here. Now, the Oracle and my co-pilot is giving me good information while I draw here about the screen lining up. Everyone needs one, for sure. Says this drawing's pretty good. I'm not so sure. We'll see. Honestly, most of the time, you know, I'm like you. I don't like my work a lot of the time, or don't think it's good. We all have this mind virus in our head. This little voice. I've named my little voice, actually, Carl, and he's a pompous asshole. It helps when you have this critical voice in your head. That's not good enough. You'll never be good enough. You know, when we're kids, they're like, it doesn't look realistic. Give it a funny voice and give it a funny name. Carl. And then it kind of releases you of the responsibility of actually listening to it, because it can throw you off track. That's not professional advice. I know that sounds weird too, but it's just one of, you know, many techniques to knock down my self-doubt when I'm having it. The whole thing too is you want this thing to be done, right? You can't start at the end of the product. You gotta work through all the awkward phases. Sometimes I explain art making like I'm not a parent, so I can't imagine. So just take the metaphor for what it's worth. That when I had the blank sheet of paper, that's the baby. It's pure. It's coming out. And as I progress, it's like teaching now can walk. It's a toddler. You know, that's kind of the lay-in stage. And you keep going further and further. Right now, I've got a teen. It's its own person. It can use more refinement, but we know who it is, so to speak. If the face was facing forward, even more so, not just metaphorically. It's realized. I could walk away from here and be like, yeah, that's good enough. And that is when you're allowed to vote. You know, you can have sex now. You're realized. Yeah, there's lots of refinement and lots of improvements you can make. Well, that's actually a pretty good metaphor, I think. Okay, put the nose up. We came for the drawing. We left changed people. Oh, man. Okay, sorry. I got so into the drawing. I'm just going to make this for 19 because I feel like I've gone for 5 minutes. My bad. Thanks to you guys who are writing on the chat. I'm actually checking it now. I got a computer right beside me. So if you have questions or if you're like Leah texting me, thanks, babe. You're still only seeing it on the screen. But when you see it in person, I'm sure it's not that bad. Not as bad as I think it is, right? I just got to face the harshest critic of them all, Keith. See what Keith says about this. When we do our figure drawing nights, I'm worried I'm going to start talking now. It's going to become a terrible habit. Sometimes when I'm painting, I'm told that I make sounds. Like, I'm sure they're boy sounds. You know that saying, like how drummers have that face that they make? Maybe I got that for drawing too. Um, so the face is quite light right now. We'll rectify that later. I'm just going to soften it up. Hair is soft. And hair, to me, it is an effect. We don't want to draw every strand. Call that spaghetti hair. So that's what it looks like to me. Let's just get some markers down. So maybe I'll use these things a little bit, or some things like this, just to soften things now. This paper is really nice. It looks velvety. It's not as nice as, you know, a $4 to $10 piece of paper like a BFK Reeves or Arches. I think this paper is even made out of recycled stuff, but it is looking like mezzotint or small little dots. It's a little bit fibrous. So quite a nice paper, quite robust. If you look at it up close, you can see all these little fibers in it, crisscrossing. But it does for a really nice effect. Not the same as newsprint or manila. Dave came in, and I hope he's using his new paper today. This paper can hold up to the erasing as well. That's, I think, I look for the fiber and how the material lays in it, because you can use stumps and rub it in. So you see that dark, soft background I was talking about? In the very start of this, what I was after. Having these limbs that are further back just kind of disappear softly. Sorry, I lost my track of thought there for a second. If you put makeup on your face, you probably have these kind of things. Another show, so I don't have Netflix or anything like that, but I've been seeing this 90 Day Fiance memes, this Big Ed. So luckily, my neighbor is not an artist, and my roommate, not really either. But if I combine those two guys, they would look just like Big Ed. And so I've been sending them memes of this guy. My roommate got super mad. He's like, "You're saying I look like this guy?" He gets me. But that show is ridiculous. And very entertaining. But I've just been watching clips, and it's like these meme things I'm watching at night. So, okay. Things are looking good here. I'm talking out loud because I'm trying to share what I'm thinking. And I don't know what I'm thinking. But you can see that I drew this like little triangle shape underneath the deltoid and over as a cast shadow to direct the eye down the arm. It does the same thing as hardening up this shadow here, but I'm looking for something cast, something, little shapes. So the next one would be to bring back this one on the leg. I lost things when softening. Some of the core is fading in, like this one, fades in and up, soften it. So I'm really thinking a lot right now about the edge work that I'm losing. Up across the hip, I lost this edge that was here. So I'm just bringing some of this back. Man, if you really rub this paper, the charcoal comes right off. Bringing it back. I had this much bigger before. So, just drawing the bed bug line. Thanks, Martino, getting that word stuck in my head. The Terminator. Terminator line. So more material. When a bunch of us from Calgary took the Henry Yan workshop, he folded up a paper towel, kind of like origami, and used it to kind of smudge and wipe across. I have this thing, but it's the same idea. So I'm softening, I'm using and finding the edge here. It's drawing with it a little bit. Don't want that mark there. Uh-oh. Made a groove in the page. I'll just erase that out a little bit. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a kneadable eraser, soften it a bit in my fingers, and make a shape. Kind of like a knife that I can draw with. This shadow here on this side looks like a comma. Think abstractly what things are. There's no name for that light in that hole. Maybe there is, I don't know. I don't need it for what I'm doing. Everybody wants to learn all the names. What is light? What is dark? Separate those things. First and foremost. You can learn a lot from the classical drawing technique in that sense. So I'm just going back, enhancing my core shadow. Now, there's some complicated stuff going up here. The deltoid, which is a multi-pennate muscle, puts a bunch of striations here. And it's going to look kind of like that a little bit. And on the other side, you're catching the light. So now I can just draw and enhance that a little bit. And they're soft because it's striations in the muscle, so it's just a soft rounding. Let's not lose them though. These ones are kind of extreme, what I've drawn here. And they connect. See what I'm doing here? Right here. They're lighter than they need to be right now, but I'm going to be rubbing things on here. In fact, I might use some flesh tones. I bought the portrait set of the Pan Pastel, and there's lots of flesh tones and stuff in here. I pulled out this little stack. They have tools in the bottom. Let's just open it up. I'm going mostly for this white when I'm getting there. We'll see how this works. These tools are annoying. They're putting these like little condoms on and stuff. I don't like it. But I ordered a whole set, and then I gave them away to my lady for Christmas. She rubs her fingers down to nothing and then comes to bed with blue hands. So I thought the tools would be good, but they're very, very soft. They get ripped up quite easily. But if you don't like to touch this stuff, that's the way to do it. It's a little bit dainty. So down here along the leg, the heel here, there's a cast shadow from the leg that dips down, because of the Achilles tendon and the olecranon, the bone there. And another shadow that gets a little wider. Okay, but what's important is that this part of the leg, there's this long tendon that goes up and it's very flat. The light is going past him and bouncing up into the leg here. So actually, it might be extreme, but what you should see is light down here, but not light, but it's still in the shadow and under the foot. So that tells us to put our core just above. And that will give you a lot more roundness to this shape. So I don't want it that light, but you get the idea. Turning around, bouncing up, reflected light. Carl and Linda, huh? If you guys are on the YouTube, or if you want to send me a message, I've been looking at student work, critiques. I mean, don't bog me down. But we're all here for each other and to learn. But when you do, can you please include a stupid name for your subconscious voices in your head? Mine is Carl. I just found out that Leah's is Linda. I wonder if mine should be a B name, since my name starts with a B. These are deep thoughts. Maybe the name will change, even though I've had it for years. There's this guy in high school named Carl, and he fed his dogs peanut butter. These are the biggest dogs I've ever saw in my life. They were so fat. It's not that their breed was big. Peanut butter. Fat dogs. Carl. See where I'm going with this? It's re-darkening the darkest shadow, pulling it from the dark into the light along the form. That lovely sound, like Jeff Cletus is in here. This is going to be the darkest light, so I'm going to need some more here. Color, maybe color. Maybe even to enhance that a little bit, I'll make the core that cool black. And then the warm can be the reflected light. So like Rubin's rhythms, warm, cool, warm, cool. And these all blend together right here. There is a slight line, or what appears to be a line, and then it fades. So let's just think about edges now. We've got all of our anatomy and stuff in here, so let's see how edges can help us smooth out where the eye goes, how it travels around the form. So I started late with all these technical difficulties, and we're now on the Pontomoro timing. So the aim here is to now, this would normally be our long break when we're in sessions here. I'm going to try this Pontomoro timing for a few of these sessions, because I really don't need to take a break at all physically, and you might feel the same way. You don't need the break. But we need to train ourselves to rest our mind, to refreshen our eyes, to a lesser extent, give the models a chance to have some water, take a little break. But in these live sessions, because I can't see you, I don't know what you're doing. You could have no pants on. Chances are you have no pants on. Hey, I could have no pants on the way I'm shooting this. We don't know. So we will take a short break. It's 5 minutes after this time is done. Have a pee, get a tea. Do all those things. Just abstractly, I made the hand a little bit bigger. Whoa, got a little dark there. Made the hand a little bit bigger. That little bone there is to the right of the leg, but I don't have enough space here in my drawing because that will put the hand too close to the edge. So I'm just going to shrink the hand in. Maybe too, my hand is just too big. So that's why you see me refining that outside of that shape, moving it over a little bit. I have a feeling that my hand is just too big, but also it does need to be a little further out. My knee is probably also too big. The great thing about this technique is you just take the dark and move it over and in. So I'm just going to use the side of this compressed charcoal. Got a minute left, so I'm watching my time as I do these things to see, well, do I want to get into the face right now? No, but I can darken everything. Get yourself a nice big charcoal. At this break, I'm going to go get the other charcoal and show it to you. Just get that darkened. Lots of it falling on your pants if you're me. Maybe that's why you shouldn't wear pants when you're drawing. And you can just have black striped legs. Or get tattoos. Cover up the black striped legs. There is a cast shadow here, so I'll put it in. Okay. Oh. What time is it? 7:42. Still just 5 minutes because we're catching up here. Normally, I would take a 15-minute break. I would allow people to socialize a little bit. Ooh, I'm just gonna whack this to get all the charcoal off the drawing. I'm gonna find that other charcoal. Okay. And take another picture too. 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Where's my cold tea? Jeez Louise. I don't know where I got some charcoal. That is so small. 2 seconds. 1 second. All right, ladies and jelly beans, reptiles and rapscallions. So we got time for 2 more sessions. Holy, seriously? No, a little bit more. And then the critique I'll do at the end. So I stepped back, and I don't like a lot of things. I think I need to make the head bigger. Once again, put the chin out further. I got to deal with what I have now, knowing the time. And in that time, during the break, I went and got the charcoal I was talking about. This charcoal, I don't work for these guys. You can get it at Swinton's. You can get it at Sunnyside. You could probably get it at Inglewood. Jack Richardson, soft, dark, and even now. All mine are kind of broken here. Oh, there's even a credit color in here. This black is beautiful, and it's a little bit like sparkly when you look at it. 6 charcoals, I think it goes for around $18. So I'm going to use this for the background real quick. I know how it behaves, although I don't know what it's going to do to this paper, but maybe you can see right away when I touch this. Look at how black that is. So I tested every type of charcoal. You can look at my YouTube video all about charcoal on the Brian Batista or Mr. Brian Batista YouTube channel. And I do a side-by-side comparison of all the types of charcoal that are available where we are, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Of course, there's other charcoals in other places, you know, local charcoals. I think I even used a piece out of my fireplace, right? It depends what kind of wood you have. So I'm going to put the background in dark so that I have a bigger sense of my value. I'm really pressing it into the paper. I'm putting a lot of weight here. So it's also smudging into the one below. Uh-oh. And picking my shapes as I go, because I don't have time to refine things like I did an hour ago. Whoa. So I am kind of drawing the edges. Now I've decided that Ryan's head has to go up to here, up much higher. Yeah. That's from stepping back for a minute. got to do that. Maybe we jump in and we get so excited and we don't judge ourselves by honestly looking. And I'm going to have to pay the price later, being committed to the center of the body for so long that I drifted away from my purpose. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm going to run out of time. Which is why right now I'm going for all this black. I'm hoping that it means I don't have to touch this again. I also brought out these General's pencils to draw more fine, because everything I'm using is fairly blunt right now. You know, it's a hammer needing to do the job of a screwdriver. So much charcoal falling off the page. So sad. You can save it. So directly across from the chin is where the hair begins. So it's a little lower. Then the neck comes down. Then the scapula. You know what? Even more. Kind of get away with it. If I look straight up this arm, that's about where the neck and the hair is actually starting. Okay. Straight, curve, straight, curve. It's actually fairly straight with men. And even straighter with straight men. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Okay, just blocking it. Look at it all following. It's like black dandruff from a coal miner. You should see my pants. Or not pants. Whatever you decide to believe. Okay, that's pretty good. Where else is that dark? Oh, Lord. Oh, so much wasted. Ah. So I can show things by putting the dark beside them. So that helps me carve out the shapes. This is not going as planned, whatever the plan was. But keep challenging me to this new material. I'm on fairly new paper for me, and I like it so far. Okay, we recut out the shapes. I'm just going to fortify some things here. That's not the right one. I need soft, hard. What? Are they all hard? Not one soft. Oh. Bad day. Bad day. These are all hard charcoals. Hard charcoal is good for your half tones. So I'm changing, because of the tool that I have, I'm changing the job that I'm doing. It kind of cuts into the paper, which is nice. So I can draw a nice edge here. Drawing with a pencil. See what it does for this. Not bad. That's generals in there. Back a little bit. Fingers are starting to make it real dirty. I'm losing it. Okay. Losing what I had. That dark charcoal's made everything so dirty. And I do want to lift out areas for the white. So I think that's still the plan. Just erasing now. Erasing out where my lights are going to go. See that. I did find my precious little eraser that was missing. Now I don't know where I put it. Or you can use your eraser pencils if you want to get in tighter. Whoa, went all over my computer. Oh, that's stupid. Last night, I was craving, I was doing taxes and stuff, so I thought I should give myself a treat. So I was craving Kraft dinner. Good old mac and cheese. And even growing up, I didn't never just have mac and cheese out of the box, right? So I put some Himalayan sea salt into the water, and then I put in some mushrooms, those dried mushrooms from Costco, and I really did it up. So it was no longer just regular Kraft. Put in tomatoes. Oh man, would this have been good? But I didn't rinse enough of the salt off I didn't rinse enough of the salt off, so it was super salty. So I was craving it, and then I threw it out. Didn't even eat it. It's too gross. You'd think after all these years and all the cooking, my mom's a fucking chef, and I can't even make Katie. Probably just really tired crunching the numbers, but no excuse. All right, I don't hate it again. Cool. So these need to be brought together, the light and the dark, kind of halfway in between. Right? This might even be too light. Okay, this tool's kind of cool. Rub it along the edge. Okay. I'm going to get that really dark charcoal and just find that little triangle again and the cast shadow between the leg and down by the hand. We got 12 minutes here. I just want to see how I can blend this background in. I'll try the chamois first. It often lifts too much out. Yeah. Let's try this little thing. Not bad. It's going to take a little bit of work here. But it's rubbing it into all the places. I don't have charcoal. Wow, it softens it quite nicely. It's better to err on the soft side than the hard side because you can always, it's easier to make a soft edge hard than it is to make a hard edge soft. So think about that. This whole side can be softened. It doesn't need, because it's high contrast, it doesn't need to be hard edged. If it's hard edged, it'll look more like a plate, so like a flat thing, than a sphere. So he's rounded on the other side. Oh, okay, that worked fairly good. It's not as dark as I want, but the paper's not going to hold on to it anymore. I really like using, with charcoal, arches paper, French arches, or BFK reeds. This is my preference for paper, for charcoal, because you can really, oh, and actually, you know what? I don't see it a lot here, but when I was studying at Belas Artes and then also at the Paris Academy of Art, Fabriano. I don't know if it's just the art often, but I love Fabriano paper. It's really toothy. It almost feels rough, like sandpaper, when you use it. And so I like that a lot when using charcoal because it gives me something to rub into and really hold on that tooth. This is a much more smooth paper, so it's not doing that effect. Remember, drawing, I mean, this is an effect, it's an illusion. There's no guy here. There's literally no guy here, unfortunately. We're just making it look like how our eye perceives if there was a guy here. There's some action outside. It's all very dark back here, so I want to be sure to add material. It's far away. Things in the distance recede. There's also a little bit of light, which adds more depth that it's hard to see on the printout. Oh, you know what? Maybe the printout's different. I got two different photos here. I've got one on the big screen in front of me, which I'm looking up at, and then the one beside me, which I was referencing in the beginning, and they're actually two different images, slightly different. So I'm kind of doing a meld of them both. We'll have to keep that in mind at the critique, because that will change things a little bit. It seems like his body's a little bit more turned. So the core shadow I'm going to favor cooler so that the reflected light looks warmer. And then that gives me warm, cool, warm, cool. Gives me that nice rhythm again. The generals, this particular general, is not as cool as the background. Oh yeah, there's. Let's see that part. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm just gonna rub in the base And while we're here, maybe do a little bit more detail in the hands. Oh man, these hands are completely different. I don't know why I didn't notice that before. So I'm trying to draw this hand. Now, the other hand's on the screen's in a different position. Just to give a little bit of detail. Sometimes just putting a little bit in will trick the brain into thinking you did a lot of work. And that's the kind of mileage we're going for here. Work smart, not hard. Because now we're running out of time. About 45 more minutes. I mean, these are long posts too. I could have stopped a lot earlier and said, I'm recalling my artistic license right now. And you guys, you're taking a class here. You have an artistic license. I wanted to have all the students do their self-portraits and then get one of those license printers so I can actually give people a card. But that would be pretty cool. Another year, perhaps. A little bit more light on this pinky toe. It's not going to be white, although right here might be. And I'll use the pencil too to draw the edges of the cast shadow. So it is a drawerly effect. It's like putting a box around something. Black is dangerous. Let's use the side of the pencil and put some texture in this hair. So I'm sharpening my pencil and turning it while I do this, actually. One of my tricks. Hair is not, it's texture, right? What's light, what's dark, and then draw just kind of lines. I'm using the back of the pencil too to scratch away some highlights. Don't forget that you can use both ends of this thing. A lot of people wouldn't think that. Especially with this texturing. All sorts of tricks. Whoa, how about get your head out of the way? That's a good trick too. Okay. I'm going to shorten the nose here. Gosh. The helix, antihelix, fossa, lobule, shadow behind the ear. And this whole side of the face is dark. I'm just using the pencil now. I guess I gotta clean this thing or flip it over to use the white. Okay. Alright. Seems so stupid. So, I got 2 minutes here. I don't need to rush on this white yet. So you almost need one of these for each thing, like this. Shadow, foreshadow travels down. Little tiny speck of light across neck here. There. Just bring it like that. Set that one again. Help me get the darkness on this side of the head that I need. It's as dark as the background, so. This hair is not black, but the shadow of the hair looks black. I'll just use the pencil again to rub it in deeper. One minute left in this session. Draw some details of the hand, maybe the separation of the knee. Back leg is a lot darker. Not quite as black. We're getting there. Let's take 5. Blow your charcoal off. Oh my God. Who's gonna come up my floors? We'll take 5. Wash your hands if you need to. All right. Sure, don't play. Damn it, he says. The chin in a little bit. And his back. I'll wait for the thing to beep. My tea is cold and gross. Where's Kirsten? I need someone to mop the floor. Oh, but it's time to come back to the drawing. So, I don't like it. We're going to go for 25 more minutes. Hopefully I can bring this back. I don't think the way that I draw with this black is doing me any favors right now. Still being too sketchy. And with the amount of time I have here, I think I should have employed a technique more like what we learned with Henry Yan. A little too late now. I don't know where my little eraser is either. Oh, there's an eraser on the back of this. So let's put in some white. And before I do, I need to erase out. That black is brutal. I need to erase out again. So I squint my eyes, and I'm squinting looking for brights. And simple shapes again. Along the side here, we can see ribs. And that might be something that I have to rub back in with my finger after. But just lighten it up. It got that black stuff falling down, got really dirty. I lost my values. They start going towards middle gray. If your eraser's black like this, just go on your drawing board and erase, and it will clean it up. It'll make it white again. Because charcoal will gum it up pretty fast, especially if it's a gum eraser like this. So squinting, simplified shapes. That's all I'm doing now. Getting it back to at least the value of the paper if I can. When I was talking about paper earlier too, I didn't mention that a lot of the drawing I do is on a paper called Stonehenge. And it's actually a cream paper like this. It's a rag paper, so it's made out of cotton. And I think it's for printmaking. And I love drawing on it because, especially with graphite, it's very forgiving. You can beat the crap out of that paper. Which, you know, that's what you want. You want something that can handle your aggressive passion. As you make your marks on the paper and in the world. Jeez. Jeez Louise, jeez cheese. Oh, I didn't think, I got a throat tickle. Like, you can't believe, I think I breathed in some charcoal. It is what it is. One tool in each hand. This could be lighter a little bit. As I squint my eyes, it's not the lightest light, but it definitely got too dark on the light side of the leg that it's starting to look like it's meant to be further back. Just a little bit of dirtiness, right? This one's nice and light. Uh-oh. There we go. Kick it down even further. So I'm pressing really hard now, because as soon as I rub my hands on this, it will go darker. So squinting down. Now that makes this relationship look right to me. And I'll just lighten everything a little bit here. Down here. So a little bit of light here. Let's see if we can get more light out of this. So I'll clean up the edge with my finger. So it's fading from blend to paper. And then we'll go to the white. Maybe a little bit. So just looking for shapes. Squint in the eyes. It's like you're working in reverse a little bit as how we made the shadow shapes in the beginning. Knuckle. Just lighten this up a little bit too. This is fill light. But it helps add some depth. Here is very bright. Here, not so bright. It's fading up, so I'll just use my finger. I can refine the shapes as I go, holding this pencil. Shortening this finger. Little triangle in there. Still there. I'm using this still to take out material. So you can kind of see the hand there. It got way too big again. All right, let's get our white out. Oh yeah, I was going to use this new pan pastel thing. Let's see. Grays, black. I have to try this next week. This wasn't really the pan pastel day. It seems to be more charcoal. I dropped these a couple times and they're cracked. I don't think that's going to affect how they work though. But I'm really worried about putting this dirty tool in here. It'd be nice to know what color it was too before you open it. Who knows? If we're doing Ryan again next week, if I can't get a model in here to photograph before then, maybe I'll work in color. Oh, that's blue. Jeez Louise, what is going on? I don't like these already. I just want the white. Pop! And it's that simple. Now, let's see what happens here. So, okay. Oh! Oh! Oh, I see now. That's nice. These are worth it. I can already tell. That is like painting. Oh, I kind of want to do color now. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure about these, but it's been 10 seconds, and I totally like these a lot. So smooth. It really, really feels like oil paint. I could see that next week maybe I'm rather than draw, just work like a painter, like blobby and smooth. Well, that's nice to know that like nearly when time's done. What an idiot. These blend really nicely. This white is quite cool. That's okay. I've kind of lost my paper now altogether, but I want to bring out some of that yellow again. Okay, I can definitely see how I'm going to use these next week. It's very nice and soft and painterly. Sorry for those who are drawing with these, that I waited so long. Maybe I was just afraid. Let's have a really nice effect. They're not cheap, but they work nicely. Very quick too. I mean, really, I could have probably, if I started with these, locked this guy in a lot faster. Oh yeah, you can make the ribs. Ooh. This like a mukbang now. Oh, it tastes delicious. Oh, I love how this works. Okay. Not exactly the effect that I thought it was going to be, but let's see what happens here. So you definitely need these tools, though, I think. They really allow you to lay this on like paint. Now I have some colors somewhere around here. Let's see if we've got like a skin color that will maybe like some something a little pinker. White, bluish white. It's too bad they don't have, it's a little hard to see the color. I've got this nice brown here that's not so dissimilar. I'm going to use along the edge maybe. Let's see. No. Okay, this one's more clean. I'm just going to blend them softer together. If you're using the pencils, you're going for the white now. Trying not to get it in with this gray though. I don't want to dirty it up too much. Yeah, this would be really great for just value practice, just value drawings. I'm sad that I got rid of the yellow of the paper underneath. My fault, I didn't know what these did. Now I know. It looks very odd to me. Let's use the pencil now for the highlights on the hair. It sits right on top, which is nice. You can be quite aggressive, you can draw more. I'll use it a little bit with this white too. Kind of strengthen the soft edges that I want to come forward. And a hard edge overlap, our Renaissance words, brings something more forward. They're not the exact same color, but let's blend them a little bit. That will help this arm come more forward in the picture plane. A little bit of drawing here. Start to get a little bit more gray as I go down. So do some cross-hatching a little bit. This would be good too for like folds in the hand, folds in the elbow, maybe little hairs. That's not like that. So I'm going to go in and darken again with the warm. I lost that yellowness of the paper in some places, especially in the darks. I'm just going to punch them up a little bit. And I'm using strokes now and angles more drawerly to bring attention to some areas. We're just letting that hand disappear. You could be much darker. Just doing some shape work now. Going back to this core that was lost. Remember it had that reflected light under it. Hopefully save this thing. I tend to not, these drawings, it's done when it's done, I don't worry so much about fixing it up. Like, you learn what's wrong and you move on. These aren't meant to be saleable drawings. I'm not trying to, in this amount of time, get perfection. That's a bad word around here, actually. OCD is fine. Perfectionism is poison. It's not going to help you in life. It's already that I wasn't happy with this. But add that into it, oh Lord. I'm actually very surprised if there's perfectionist artists out there. Like that are actually perfectionists. Because you would just always be learning that it's not attainable. Maybe photographers. They can make like a perfect shot, relying on the thing that's external, of course. That you have the perfect subject, the perfect Brad Pitt, and the perfect scene on the perfect day. So even that wouldn't be enough. But here in art, we control everything. If you get the wrong paper, it's your own fault. We're just going to work on a couple directions of halftones. Seems like I'm going over stuff that I already did. Well, if it seems that way, it's true. I'll try to pull some dark into these rib folds. Whoa! Don't want it to smudge into that white though. Oh, look at that, just erases. So this is just that vine charcoal I started with. Softening some things that aren't hard. Cast shadow on the sand, so I can't see that. There's a few indications in the hands that will make the viewer think you've done a lot more work without totally drawing them in, because if you do that, as I said earlier, that's where they'll focus. I want the focus around here. I'd love to take away from this head a little bit, but 2 minutes left. I don't know that that's doable. And that core shadow back down between the shoulders and across the acromion process. I'm showing the deltoid here. The striations are important. He's in a state of pushing the hand down in this flexion there. So we're going to take a little break, maybe draw for 10 more minutes after it. And that'll give me a chance to step back here as well and see what I can do to fix everything that I hate in a short period of time. So that I can post it. I'm starving. I want some ice cream. Been a good boy today. These are both the exact same pencil, but I don't think this one is actually hard. I don't like the General's Hards. I find them too scratchy into the paper. I definitely prefer the extra soft with Generals. They're not good for everything, of course. All right. Let's take 5. I'm going to sit and stare at this for at least 2 minutes now so that I can figure out what the heck to do with it. I suggest you do the same. Too late to fix that now. Yeah. I know this is cheating. I just noticed some anatomy that's really off. Now, the hand should be way back. Way back. Looks like it's floating. Well, we'll try to deal with this in the last 10 minutes. 1 minute. Oh, yeah. Exploded. Okay. All right. Here's what I decided. Upon stepping back and looking not at an angle and comparing it to where this hand is, this hand looks like it's floating. So I think the best way, really his arm is traveling at an angle, and I drew it straight. And that's in part due to looking at this drawing at such a weird angle. Like I'm like this. It's black on my face even. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cheat the shadow like this. And that will make the hand look a little less floaty. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you can see that. Cheat the shadow. Looks like at a diagonal. Just lighten up the bottom here. Also another shadow back here that I didn't really get in. Something like that. I'm just going to pick out some little drawing things too while I'm little lines and things. Just to enhance some areas. It's not as realistic, but at this point, this drawing is not that realistic. I'm okay with that. Definitely learning some things tonight, though. Whoopsies. Whoopsie daisies. Sorry, I hope that's in the shot. I just got this tiny little piece that I'm working with, just using the edge and corner of it. Ever so carefully. Oh my god, don't fuck it up. Excuse my French. I'm sorry to French people. I just said that. Very insensitive. Not as insensitive as the other Brian, Brian Adams. What a fucking guy. I never liked his music anyhow. Alright, that helps a little bit. Carl says do better from the start. He's right. He's right this time. So I'm allowing the texture of the paper to capture some of this mark making, using the edge where I need it to, like here on a cast shadow, and then just kind of letting it just sit on top. Over time, this will just dissipate. But for tonight, and for doing the comparison and all that jazz, it's going to be good now. Ah! Caught it. Come on, it's so small, this piece. I don't even know why I bother. I bother for you. Okay. Nice edge there. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Funny. This is too small. 5 minutes left. What can I do? Bring down this neckline. So I'm just fortifying my core shadow. Now I'm using my artistic license that you wouldn't believe. I don't want to see his neck too much. Whoa. This is hard to do. I'm not holding the drawing board very well right now. Next week I'll try to get a better angle too. The camera's like, if I sit up, it'll hit my head. But it's still a little too tilted, I think, to maybe distort your drawing if you're following along. Dave kicked butt this week. His drawings he showed me, just following along, not even having reference, turned out so good. So I hope that you guys are having a good and challenging time learning along with me. That it's worthwhile coming on Wednesday even just to hear the silly talking. I wish that I could hear your talking too, a little bit, not too much. You can use the chat. Leah's doing it. Robin's doing it. Use the chat on the YouTube. I think that does better for the algorithm too. I'm not 100% sure. Let's crisp up this shoulder a little bit. So maybe just trying to make some enhancements in your drawing, wherever those might be. I'm going to take this little pastel and actually just draw this light. Just got a little bit of light right there. And then across his neck. Soften that one edge. I don't know, maybe it can't be saved. Carl's a dick anyhow. Maybe it can't be saved. But what a fun Wednesday night it's been so far. Get a little bit of his hand in here before it's over. What? Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Wow. It's a little bit of shine on that knee. Maybe not that much shine. Maybe just go right over it. That's sweet. Alright. That was from the other image, which we'll see up on the screen here shortly. So there's a light there. So oh, sideways you can oh, that's cool. I don't know if you guys can see that. Use this, I guess when it's clean only. Okay, just use the side of it there. So these will be fun to play with for a little while. What I really would love to do is try a drawing in the style of Henry Yan, but I don't have my Henry Yan book to study from. I can look on the internet. He does give instruction in his book. So we got a minute left. I guess I'll just sign this mofo. Why not? Just gonna sign it underneath his leg. Oh, that's not good. What day is it? May 13th. M13. I'm going to switch the camera real quick. Sorry, you guys, it's going to be chaotic. Ophelia, aloha. Holy. All right. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to switch the camera to bunny cam. And I'll just hit the timer off here. I need an Allen key to do this. So, just a little second. Actually, maybe I'll just take it right off the magic arm. And I'll just hold it and talk and point. I hope I don't disconnect. Oh, this was a dumb idea. I tied this camera so well. Okay. Hey. Sorry. Hey, while we're here, look at how beautiful the light in the studio is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this time of year because we do get a shaft of light. It hits the sculpture a little bit. I mean, it's still early. And goes across and actually comes in the room. Now, I'm mostly north-facing, but as the azimuth has changed, I start to get a shard of light in the studio. So, speaking of studio, I hope you can still hear my voice. You can see this chaotic setup, this easel with the magic arm. When I'm sitting down here, this is right over my head. But I'm going to move it because I need to face where we're going here. All right. Ideally, sorry, I'm grabbing a tripod. This is chaos. This is where you want two cameras and a video switcher, the critique part. So I'm just going to screw this tripod mount on real quick. That way I can be hands-free and go point at this thing. Because we like the critique, right? Can't hear you. We like the critique, right? Guys? Can't hear you. That's right. Okay. Let's zoom in. Awesome. I hope this is still live. Hey-o. But how is that behind the scenes? Let me move this back off a little bit. Okay. And this Kleenex looks like a 14-year-old boy's room. The Kleenex is for my hands, I swear to God. Anyways, Ryan's not that hot. And if you're watching Ryan, I apologize. Oh, Lord. Here we are. Wait, where am I? Let's flip the screen here. I can't see what's going on. Okay. Sweet. There we go. This is the actual reference. Honestly, I'm surprised it even looks anything like this because as I had this tilted, I was really looking at a diagonal. I do prefer looking up at the screen, but I didn't do it until the last session. And then I realized as drawing some shapes that the hands are different. This hand, he's like pushing up. He's more forward. It's a different moment in time. Okay, I like these pan pastels. I'm sad that I lost the yellow. It's not my favorite piece. And it looks to me, once again, like that leg was too big. This hand should be this is at a diagonal. You can see there's more of a diagonal here. I kind of lost it with the hand. Like the hand shouldn't be this far forward. It should be right about here. Okay, so I mean that's talking about proportional learning, but let's come in a little tighter quickly, and let's just compare the two. That's the one for doing that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Camera. His head looks a little small. It's a little tilted up. The chin got a little too far here. But the pan pastel was pretty fun. I think maybe next week I'll start with the pan pastel, and I'll start with like flesh tones. I've got some nice pictures of other models that, maybe there's some with Ryan too that I can use that don't have genitalia, obviously. I don't know what else to say. Today was a weird day. I don't know what to talk about. I hope it was exciting. See that the hands cut off here. So the view on the camera is very different than the view. I think even though there's these edges here on the split, this is a bit much. So a little too much detail, and it's drawerly, which is fine as it disintegrates into the name. I'm guessing that, you know, if I just press my hand on here, it comes off. So I think I'm going to give it a little glue spray, fixative, just to see, because all the other drawings on this pad are starting to disappear, and I'm not sure if the glue spray will make these darks darker or if it'll make this white disappear. So I'm interested in seeing. I'll get back to you guys next week, or we'll start with that and see what's up. Hey, thanks for drawing along with me. Please use the chat. I see a lot of people now are starting to write. It's nice to be interactive. My lady's texting me, telling me what's going on, and it's helpful because when we're in the life drawing situation here, you know, you can bounce ideas off each other or look at others' pieces, and it gives you some inspiration because they are looking at the same thing from a different angle, and you can move around and learn a lot more. Spring has sprung here in Calgary, so get out in your gardens, and hopefully I can get the Friday going again. I know I'm behind. I do now, thanks to C-Space, have a more stable Wi-Fi, although even today it had a lot of problems. It dropped 3 or 4 times, and when it drops the camera, then it drops the OBS, and then I lose the signal to YouTube. You didn't need to know that. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. I'll end the stream. Have a good night.